Welcome to the top 10 reasons you should learn Kotlin. Coming in at number 10 is Boilerplate. Data classes require a lot of boilerplate. This simple person class only has 3 fields, yet it has 9 functions. All the function of the previous class can be recreated in Kotlin by simply adding the data keyword at the start of a class. Kotlin replaces fields with properties which automatically have getters and setters, which gives you encapsulation by default. Not to be too harsh on Java though. In Java 14 they added the record keyword, which achieves the same effect. Coming in at number 9 is Null Safety. Let's say that a person can have a number of siblings, and we create a function to check if another person is our sibling. That's simple enough, right? But what happens if person is null, or person.siblings is null? In the current state, if we run this code, we'll get a null pointer exception. A potential solution is to check if person is null, and we can throw an illegal argument exception in that case. We could also make use of JetBrains not null annotation. Or we could do it the old-fashioned way and just include a Java doc. And while all of these approaches work fine, let's see how it would be done in Kotlin. In Kotlin, types have to be explicitly declared as nullable. You can do this by appending a question mark to the type. As you can see, if we call the function using the correct parameters, we have no problems. If we swap out the parameter we pass this method to null, the code will not even compile in Kotlin. And as you can see, the function accepts a non-null type. In at number 8 is checked exceptions. Let's say we wanted to load a file from the file system. Simple approach would be to use the file input stream. The problem with using this class is that you're forced to handle the file not found exception. So let's wrap the code to this constructor in a try-catch clause. And that's simple enough, but what do we do with the exception? Do we print a stack trace? Do we rethrow the exception as a runtime exception with a more helpful message? Or do we just pass the problem to someone else by using the throws keyword? Ideally, exceptions should bubble up. This means we can handle them in a generic way. Without checked exceptions in the way, we have the freedom to do this. Number 7 is extension functions. In Kotlin, we can extend the functionality of existing classes. Here I'm creating a function that will prepend a username to a string. But because we wrote it as an extension function, you can call it as if it was a member of the string class. Kotlin comes as standard with a huge library of extension functions. These enrich existing Java classes with the latest and greatest Kotlin features. Next up is Java interoperability. All of your favorite libraries and frameworks work out of the box with Kotlin, but not every library may function how you expect it to. As you can see, the code above actually throws an exception. This is because Jackson requires a no-arc constructor to work. Not to worry, however. Most of your favorite libraries will have Kotlin extensions to handle these differences. And as an added bonus, you'll normally find that these frameworks actually make use of Kotlin's improved syntax. Next is the IntelliJ IDE. IntelliJ is packed full of features to make transitioning over to Kotlin as smooth as possible. Here I just copy-pasted some Java code into my Kotlin class. IntelliJ will automatically generate the code for me. It doesn't always translate everything perfectly, but as you improve in the Kotlin language, you won't have a problem translating the rest. So let's quickly convert this old record into a Kotlin data class. And also let's clean up some of the Java code to make use of Kotlin's features. Kotlin doesn't need to use optionals or streams, so we can strip those out. We can make use of Kotlin's copy function, which is automatically generated in our data classes. And finally, we can refactor the count car types function to make use of the SUMOF function. Operator overloads allow us to overload unary and binary operators. This allows us to create simple and clean APIs. Adding the operator keyword to the start of this function allows me to use a plus instead of calling the function. There are many operators to choose from. Let's implement the times operator for our vector class. Kotlin standard library makes great use of operator overloads. For example, here I'm using the get operator to access a map. Inline functions are probably one of my favourite features of Kotlin. The measure time millis function can be used to time how long a piece of code takes to run. And what's really neat about this is if we look at the decompiled source code, you can see it actually inlines the timing logic into the main method. Another feature only available for inline functions is reified generic types. This would be impossible to do in Java because of type erasure. But as you can see, the Kotlin code works absolutely fine. In Kotlin, you can use things such as if statements and try-catch blocks as if they were expressions. IntelliJ suggests that I refactor this code by lifting the color out of the if statement. This replaces Java's ternary operators. One benefit of using this over ternary operators is that you can use when clauses as well, which makes inlining multiple choices a lot easier. You can also use a try-catch block as an expression. For example, you could load a backup file if the original file didn't exist. And finally, last but not least, coroutines. Include the coroutines core Gradle dependency, and you will have the full power of coroutines at your fingertips. Coroutines run like lightweight threads. The main benefit of coroutines over threads is that they use a simpler syntax that is built into the language. You can also spin up hundreds of thousands of coroutines, where this wouldn't really be feasible with threads. Now, despite there being a 1-second delay for each call of fetch, the entire program completes in just over 1 second. And that was 10 reasons to learn Kotlin. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more content like this, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any ideas for any videos you'd like to see, leave a comment below.